I send thousands of cold emails every single day, and it's taught me this one thing, and that's that most outreach gets ignored because it's either too long or not relevant enough. And after running my lead generation company and booking hundreds of meetings for myself and my clients, I've cracked the formula for emails that prospects simply can't ignore. And I'm about to show you exactly what you're doing wrong and how you can make these two simple changes that can double your reply rates immediately. So let's get straight into the video and let's not waste any time. So why are cold emails getting ignored? Why are you not getting the responses that you actually want? First and foremost, your emails are just way too long. Most people don't read long emails. They skim, and they do this in under 10 seconds. If your emails just look like a wall of text, it's just going to get ignored. People just haven't got the energy anymore. You need to think about it. We're constantly sitting on our phones, scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Instagram, even scrolling on LinkedIn, or whatever we're scrolling on. And now our attention spans, they're cooked, they're finished. So you need to keep this in mind. So you need to write emails with the goal of hooking attention immediately and giving or writing it in a way that gets the prospect interested enough to respond. And that is it. You're piquing interest enough for them to say yes and raise their hand. Now, why does this matter? Decision makers receive hundreds plus emails every single day. You need to stand out, and yours needs to be easy to consume and engage with. 81% of professionals prefer concise business communication. No one has time for waffle. And finally, response rates drop by 50% when emails exceed 5 sentences. You don't need to be sending long emails. Here's just a long example of like a example of a bad email, right? It's just long, really, really wordy. And look, I don't even have the energy to read it. It's just too long. But the better and shorter version reads, "Hey Sarah, noticed B2B Tech just launched your new customer delivery feature. We help B2B SaaS software increase qualified leads by 40% with marketing automation without spending money on ads. Can I share a 2-minute video on how we can help you do the same?" Now, just of like, at face value, just looking at looking at the slides, right? This just looks like a big blah, blah, blah of just nonsense of text. Even if it was valuable, even if this was going to change my life, this particular email, this long one, I'm just not reading it because it's too long. The shorter one, it's structured well, it's spacious. At a glance, I can say, okay, they've increased qualified leads by 40% with their marketing automation solution. It would take me ages to get to that understanding with a longer email. So this is why it's important. This is why internally I preach the glance rule. And it's super simple, it's nothing complex. All it means is that a single glance, the prospect should be able to know what you're offering, the specific value to them, and whether it's worth their time to respond or not at a glance. Yeah, and a glance for me, I define it with 3 seconds. They should be able to skim, then decide if they want to read it properly, and then respond. That's it. It's as simple as that. Because like I said, you need to remember that your goal is to start a conversation, not close a first deal in the first email. So all of that additional text and all of that additional waffle is just simply not needed, because you end up with like a whiteboard or an email that just looks like this to the prospect. Loads of words with no understanding. That's number one. Shorten your emails. And the next reason is because you haven't segmented your email list. What you have done, you've built a list and you've said, great, wrote copy for it and just sent it away and said, yeah, fantastic. Let me just wait for the positive responses to come in. Even if you're doing it manually, maybe you have a template. You're not segmenting your manual outreach either. And because of this, even your manual emails, they seem generic. They're not speaking to the prospect. And this is why hypersegmentation is so important. Hypersegmentation, that is, not just segmentation. Now, one size for emails, they just don't work. Relevancy equals responses. So the more specific you can make your email to the person you're emailing, the higher chance you're going to get a response. It's just as simple as that. And hypersegmentation ensures that every single email, even if it is automated, which it probably is nowadays, it feels like it was written for the prospect. It feels like it was written for me. So why is hypersegmentation so important? Why is it essential? And first reason is generic emails, they get ignored. It's as simple as that. If your prospect doesn't feel like that their email has been written for them, they're just not going to respond to you. Like, sorry. Um, you should be putting your list into small targeted groups to increase that engagement. So the more specific you can get with your segment, the more relevant the message can be, therefore higher responses. And once again, this allows you to do quote unquote personalization at scale. So instead of sending out one massive broad message, one generic email blast, you're sending multiple targeted sub campaigns, and sub campaigns that are actually resonating with the person that you're trying to contact. So what does segmentation actually look like typically? So first, we'll segment by industry. So for example, say if you was targeting agencies. Now there's so many different agencies. There's financial agencies, there's marketing agencies, there's automation agencies, there's AI agencies. But within that, within marketing agencies, you also have SEO agencies, you have full stack marketers, you have PPC, you have Google Ads, you have Meta Ads. So this is how granular you need to get with your marketing and with your marketing message, which is in essence your copy. Same with automation. There's AI automation agencies, there's accountancy specific agencies, there's lead generation specific automation agencies. You need to get so granular with a segmentation that it actually gives you a headache. Then you're going to segment by role. So this is simple. You put all the CEOs and the CEO related titles such as managing director, owner within the CEO segment. You put CMOs and all the marketing related roles in the marketing segment. You put the VPs of sales and all of the sales related roles in the sales segment. Growth marketer, I guess that could sit in either sales or CMO. It depends how you see it. And then you'll segment by pain point. Now, the pain points typically will be tied to the segment role because you're going to create the pain point based on their role and based on the industry too. So the pain points are created by the industry and the role. Then you can segment by trigger event. Now, trigger event is like taking it even further. And so you can either listen or scrape for the trigger event. And these are things like if they're recently funded, how are they hiring a role that relates to the service you're planning to deliver? Have they launched a new product? Are they expanding into new markets? Have they recently grown their team? All of these things are triggers. You'll segment based on that. So you put all of the SEO agencies in one bucket. You'd also put all of the CEOs and CMOs and VP of sales in their own buckets that are part of the SEO agencies. You would then also tie their role and industry to a specific pain point, and then you would look to see if these SEO agencies that are CEOs that have a specific pain relating to being the CEO of an SEO agency have any triggers. And that is how you approach segmentation. So just doing this one thing, which yes, it's going to take you time up front, but especially if you're doing cold email, you are basically investing the time up front so you can automate it later. That's the whole point. So when you're building these campaigns, and especially doing your research, doing your segmentation, and like going through your campaign building process, look, it's going to take you some time. It should take you time because you should be putting a lot of strategic thought into your campaigns. And the result is instead of 2% rates in responses, you're looking at 5% plus. The whole goal, you just want to make sure that the prospect understands that you understand them. That's it. Also, just to let you know, I'm going to give you all of the slides from this video, so don't worry about taking notes or anything like that. I'm just going to give you the slides. I'll link it in the description. And yeah, okay. So let's talk about segmentation even further. Let's get even more granular so you actually understand what you're doing. The whole point of this video is that you go away and you can build super powerful campaigns that are relevant and have that personalized feel. So to be clear, not all prospects think the same way. So the pain points of a CEO are very, very different from kind of a VP of sales. So if you send them the same pitch and the same pain point, your emails are going to feel like irrelevant and, like I said, not unique to them. So a CEO may be focused with the overall growth and revenue of the company. So you need to think like what is keeping them up at night in relation to their role. So this is things like unpredictable revenue, struggle to hit growth targets, scaling the business without increasing costs, um, having a repeatable business to generate pipeline. These are things that generically they're going to be concerned with in regards to sales and like marketing and lead generation. So you'd position it as we help B2B CEOs increase pipeline, blah, 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 blah. Now, CMOs, they're thinking that their concerns are slightly different. Although, yes, their concerns are related to growth, there's a specific terminology that they are going to resonate with more. So this is things like struggling to generate consistent high quality leads, balancing outbound with brand positioning being the key term, and difficulties tracking return on investment in regards to like marketing campaigns and so on. And this is important because then your message turns into we help CMOs scale outbound while keeping brand positioning or reducing return on investment, um, or increasing return on investment on their ad spend by integrating some outbound solution. Um, but yeah, you get the point there. We're using their specific terminology in relation to their role. And once again, the VP of sales, they're more concerned with lead quality, hitting what are we in? Q1, Q2, we're approaching Q2. So preparing for Q2, for example, or hitting Q1 targets strong. And they're also concerned they're in charge of the sales team, they're in charge of the sales department, they're in charge of outbound. So then your offer turns into we help sales teams double booked meetings without adding more SDRs using precision targeting. In essence, it's the same thing that we're offering here, but we're just saying it differently. We're saying it in a way that is going to resonate with the person that we're speaking to. And that's all it's about. The goal is to make them feel like you have the missing puzzle. The goal is to make them feel like that you have the missing piece that they've been searching for. And the only way that you can portray that message is if you fit that piece. And when you're using words, you need to be able to like speak their language, show them that you're the missing piece of the puzzle, you're the right shape, and it's because you understand what they're lacking. That's how you need to think about it. Something that seamlessly fits into their existing strategy and solves the exact problem that they're currently facing, that they are specifically are currently facing. Because that's all we care about. Like, humans are inherently selfish. So naturally we care about ourselves and our ability to deliver. And that's it. So although yes, like, prospects are concerned with the overall business and making sure that the overall business is successful, before the business is them. And this is why we need to speak to them specifically. I'm rambling, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. Next thing you need to do is understand what trigger-based messages actually is. Now, I don't know about you, but I personally believe in divine timing. Now, divine timing is the belief that everything happens at the right moment, at the right time, even if it doesn't seem that way. And that, like, almost like a higher power or the universe has a plan for our lives. So for me, everything is written already. But most cold emails fail because they feel random. They don't have that element of divine timing. So the best emails that, I don't know about you, but I've received is like, they make me think, wow, like, how did you know I needed this? That, like, is that feeling, and you need to be able to deliver that feeling. Like, wow, like, whoa, like, this is some magic. How did you know this? How did you know that I was feeling stressed about specific pain point? And this is what trigger-based messaging allows you to deliver, because we get subtle signals from a company. Like, in an ideal world, we could just close our eyes and be able to target a company and think, oh, this is the pain that they're in, but we can't. So we need signals. We need clues. We're basically detectives at this point. So we're scraping for clues. We're looking for clues across the internet to tell us this is the right time to reach out to them with this message. So what is a trigger? It's an external event that signals a potential need for your product or service, and it gives us a reason to reach out. So it answers that question, why me and why now? It answers that at the same time. So for example, in my case, if I just go to someone and I say, hey, do you need help with outbound? It's not powerful, is it? But if I use a trigger-based approach and I say, so a company just raised a funding round, Many teams at this stage struggle with outbound or looking to scale it. Do you want to see a playbook that books meetings while you scale? Or do you want to see a playbook that we've delivered multiple times for companies at your specific funding round to scale aggressively or whatever? My point is that it's a lot more relevant and timely. And this small shift can drastically increase response rates because your outreach is now context relevant. Okay. But look, by no means is this a magic kind of wand where all you need is just to scrape triggers and you're going to book meetings, because that's just not it. You need to also segment and do everything that we've already spoken about. And this is kind of like an extra ingredient to the cake. It makes it a little bit sweeter. But by no means is it the whole cake. Like, you can't just live off of trigger based signals alone. So why does it work? So it's relevant. So higher response rates due to relevancy. There's less resistance because your email is almost aligned with their priorities or their current state. And you're going to get more conversations and potentially faster sales cycles, because there's sometimes an element with urgency if you're using the correct triggers. For example, say if a company has 3 SDRs and they lose 2 or they fire 2, or for whatever reason, the signal that I've been tracking is the number of SDRs on teams. If at any point the number of SDRs go to 1, that's a trigger for me. So I reach out to them. The reason why that trigger is powerful, because I know they've lost a lot of their outbound power, whether that's cold calling, cold email. What else have we got? LinkedIn outreach. I know that they've basically got only a third of what they once had. So it's very relevant. And that is just an example of a signal that could potentially be quite aggressive in regards to the willingness for the prospect to take action. And there's multiple triggers to look out for. There's some at company level. So as we said, funding rounds, product launches, hiring. Personal level. So this is job changing, speaking events, social media engagement. And there's also market level triggers as well, like compliance, new regulations, and so on. Now you can identify them by doing loads of different things, whether it's scraping, using existing tools like Apollo, Crunchbase, and Clay. You can even set up RSS feeds with Google Alerts, track competitor activity. And if you want me to just make a video specifically about triggers and how you can track all the various different triggers, let me know in the comments. I'd be more than happy to make it. But my point is, it's about divine timing. You should be trying to deliver emails that make them feel like, wow, how on earth, like you blew me away, because this is exactly what has been on my mind for the last week. And yeah, what you need to focus on is that many people believe that personalization is the be all and end all. I received loads of personalized emails, personalizing random things that didn't even relate to what they were trying to sell me, or relate to me really, or it wasn't aligned with my interests. Like I've shared this multiple times, this example, but I remember one guy emailed me talking about the university that I went to, or if you're watching from the States, the college. And he was like, yeah, like, I saw you went to University of Essex. Did you enjoy Sub-Zero? And I was just thinking, what on earth is that? Like, I've never heard of Sub-Zero in my life. I did a little bit of digging and research, and it turned out to be a club that was on a completely different campus to the one that I attended. And it's like, what a waste of a personalized point and GPT credit. Like, what a waste, what a waste. And this is the difference between personalization and relevance. So many people believe that personalization is just pulling random data points and mentioning a prospect, school, city, or fun fact from their LinkedIn. And this just won't drive results for you. You think you're being smart, but smart is not what is going to drive results. Strategy is what drives results. True personalization isn't about random facts. It's about making your message feel like it was written just for them. Hope you understand this. And you can actually achieve this without using AI. If you use AI the right way, don't get me wrong, incredibly powerful. We use AI in pretty much all of our emails. But by no means is it the be all and end all, because there's a lot of foundational stuff that you should do beforehand, like the segmentation, like the scraping for triggers, and so many other things. And everything that we've covered in this video, it comes down to relevance. So having a shorter email and making sure it performs better. It's relevant because it allows decision makers, busy decision makers, to skim and search for that relevance. Hypersegmentation to increase the response rates. It creates relevance because people engage with messaging that feels like it was written for them, even if they know that it's automated. Most time, 9 times out of 10, a lot of prospects, they're aware that these emails are automated now. They're aware of it, but still, they reply to the ones that are relevant to them. Now, matching pain points and offers to each segment, and this is because each segment and role cares about different things. So you need to speak to that. You need to address that. Trigger-based messaging makes outreach feel natural or timely, I would say, and it's because context is so important, and it's more important than, I would say, anything else. If you're contextually aware of a business's current circumstances, like if you could, magically like listen to everything that was happening, naturally you're going to have better results with your cold email because you have the context, you have all of the data and all the information that you need to address pain points and to address their needs in that moment. And this is why triggers are important, because it just gives us a little snippet. Not enough that it's just like we're like super spies, but enough for us to make a small impact. Now, if you apply everything that was spoken about in this kind of this video, your emails will feel personal and they will feel personalized, and therefore response rates will increase. They'll be timely, relevant, and actually deliver value. And it's relevancy that is going to get replies. Personalization is just a tool. It is useful, but not necessarily when you deeply understand the segment and your audience. The simple goal is to create emails that feel 100% uniquely written for the prospect without actually being customized for them individually. And that's how you can get aggressive scale. You can get to the point where you're sending multiple thousands of emails every single day, like we are. And every single email will feel unique. Every single email will feel like, wow, like, this is written for me. And that's the best way to do it. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. As I said earlier, I have linked the presentation slides in the description below. If you want to subscribe to my newsletter, where I share all of our kind of what's going on internally, all the things that we're delivering for our clients, and all of the latest outbound strategies, subscribe to my newsletter. And yeah, if you want to work with us, please apply below as well. Apart from that, love you lots, and thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. I love you lots, and goodbye.